All right, we're recording. Now let me, all right, I guess I can do that in a second. All right, so our guest speaker for tonight, for those of you guys who, I know we have a lot of, some cross-line teams on here, which is awesome to see. Some of Tommy's team. Tommy Mygrant has been, really the person who has mentored us with our business over the past, what is it now? Almost 4 years. We're coming up on 4 years that we've been plugging away at this stuff. It's crazy to think. Some of you may have heard this story, but it was January of 2011 that Jessica and I stumbled into a Super Saturday event in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, called Bellevue, Ohio. We're just driving past train tracks, and we're like, is there anything even out here? There's a cow, there's a cornfield, all right, anything. Finally stumbled into the field house there, met Tommy, and from day one he has just welcomed us with open arms. Many of you guys on our team know that we have, we're kind of orphan coaches. We didn't really have any direct upline help, direct upline support as far as training and materials and things to just teach us how to grow a business. So again, when I talk about going out and copying the right people, I went out and I found Tommy Mygrant. I'm like, I need to figure out how to do something. This guy looks like he knows what he's doing. He's having some success. Let me just start hanging around and maybe I can learn some stuff. And that's what we did. We just kept showing up to events. Every event we were there, we would help out when we could. And he, like I said, just welcomed us with open arms and brought us in and treated us like one of his own. For those of you who don't know who Tommy Mygrant is, let me just give you a little bit of his street cred to really just show you guys that this guy is the real deal here. Tommy is a 10-star diamond coach. He has 22 lifetime diamonds, which means that he's helped 22 of his personally sponsored coaches hit diamond coach. He's a 3-time elite coach. He's a 2-time top 10 coach. Now, some of you guys might not even know what that means, but let me just tell you, that's really hard to do, right? I mean, to hit it once is a feat in itself. To repeat multiple times is extraordinary. He's hit Success Club 57 consecutive months now. He was the 2012 Leadership Award winner. He's a $50,000 winner in the Beachbody Challenge. And one of his most recent accomplishments, he's the 47th person to make the $1 million club with Beachbody. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Tommy Mygrant. Let me go ahead and pin you to the top. All right, there we are.
All right, man. What? You know what? It's so funny because Mark, refers back to the time when he first came to one of my Super Saturday events, and just like all of you guys, you can hear all of these things about me as far as what I've accomplished in the business, and as a Beachbody coach. And that can be a little bit daunting, right? Here's this guy that's got all these friggin' diamonds, and he's the leadership winner and earned $1 million in the business and all that stuff. But at the core of who I am is just a real regular person. I'm a high school football coach, in fact, and that's what I've done my entire life. I'm almost 40 years old. I've coached high school football now for my 17th year. And that's when I first met Mark, I was hosting our Super Saturday events in Ohio in the middle of our field house for our football program, where our football team goes to practice and all that stuff. And I think at that event we had like 35 or 40 people, and Mark came in, and that was my first introduction to him and Jessica. And, one of the first things I thought was, man, they look like they came with a picture frame. That's how good looking they are as a couple, But I then soon discovered just really how humble they were. I remember I asked Mark to share his story openly at that event in front of 35 people. And he was nervous to do that, and at that time, I mean, when I think about the reasons, we talk about staying the course, we talk about giving it time, we talk about doing your personal development. When I think of Mark Klanik, I think of someone who has done all of those things. And that's why he has this incredible team of people now, all of you guys that are here on a daily basis that are out there doing the good work of Beachbody coaching. I do want to just share a little bit about myself, because I don't want to assume that all of you know me. I know some of you do, so some of you have heard some of this before. but I want to share a little bit about myself. So I started as a Beachbody coach in 2008, April of 2008. But previous to that, I had spent 20 years as a morbidly obese person. And I was just that big fat guy that happened to pick up a set of P90X. And I remember when I first started doing the program, all I wanted to do was get my workouts in and try to lose weight. Finally in my life, I was ready to lose this weight that I had struggled with for all of these years. And I remember Tony Horton talking about get your recovery drink. And I'm like sitting there sweating my ass off going, man, I don't want your recovery drink. I don't want your shakes. I don't want all that other stuff. I just want to work out. In fact, I didn't want to coach. I didn't go to the website until I was about 4 or 5 months into the program. And then I went to the website. And I was a free customer, right? I was one of those free customers given to my coach. Her name is Melanie Bolin. And here we are 7 years after that fact, after she got me as a free customer, and our team now generates, probably 130,000 volume a week. So just to put that in dollar figures, we generate enough volume for her to make $8,000 to $10,000 a week. And I was one of those free customers, right? That's one of the really awesome things about Beachbody is our ability to qualify for these free customers. And as long as we're doing our job and trying to connect with those people, much like she did with me, then that's great. And so she loved me through that. And she asked me about 3 or 4 times to become a coach. And at the time I was running an insurance agency. I was president of the Rotary Club in my local hometown. I was coaching high school football. I had absolutely no intention of Beachbody becoming a big thing for me. I was very hesitant to be a coach. That wasn't the vision for my life. But I fell so in love with the products, and I already had people ask me about it. So I figured, why not, man? If I can make a few $100 a month to pay for my fitness habit, how many of you are that person where you started with the products, you started with the programs, you figured, man, if I can make a few $100 a month, that's super cool, right? And so I did that, and it took me about 4 months to get the diamond. But see, here's the thing that about me. And this might help you in some way is this, all I knew was, okay, I got to get to Emerald, right? I got to get to Emerald and I have to qualify for free customers. And that made sense to me because I was a free customer for my coach, right? And so, that was really the first thing I thought was, okay, I got to get to Emerald. So if you're on this call and you're brand new, you don't have to know everything right out of the gate to set a goal of going and making it to Emerald before the end of this month. Does that make sense? Right? And in fact, if I were you, that would probably be the first thing, that I do is make sure that I'm Emerald and I begin qualifying for some of those free customers, because you don't know who's going to be in those people. Even if it's a couple people a week, it's still people who have already said yes to Beachbody that you can then be friends with and help them through their journey. So, but for about a couple of years, I just sat at Diamond. So the first thing was, I was like, man, I got to go get the Emerald. And I went and did that. And then I started looking at, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but in your online office, there's actually a sheet that says the average incomes for the different ranks of coaches, right? What the average incomes are. And so I pulled out this average income earning statement. And I suggest that you all go look at that. In fact, if I'm Mark, why don't pull that out and post it in your team page so they can see this? Because I think sometimes, we think about hitting a rank in terms of I want to hit a rank, but when you look at what the average of each rank earns in a year, at the time, the average Diamond coach earned $12,000 a year, right? And I was like, how many of you are like, crap, okay, I can get to Diamond, and I'm at least good enough to be an average Diamond, right? I'm at least good enough to be an average Diamond. That wasn't even the highest paid Diamond. It was the average Diamond coach was making 12 grand a year. And so I did everything I could to go get to Diamond, right? Does that make sense? But it wasn't until I was a couple years in that I decided to get a little bit more serious about this as a business. I had a falling out at my insurance agency. The guy that owned it, our verbal agreement was that I would eventually start buying into ownership of this agency and eventually take it over from him. And that was going to be my future, was owning this insurance agency in my hometown. Well, as it turned out, when his word didn't mean as much as what I thought it did, and he sort of switched the deal on me and wanted me to split it with 2 of his sons, and I didn't want that. And so immediately then my plan A was crumbling. Does that make sense? And I think some of us what we don't realize is this. We think that plan A, what we're currently doing, is always going to be there. It's never going to change. And the reality is that's not the truth. I've got a coach on my team, Liz Bellini, who was a marketing executive for a firm out of Cleveland, Ohio. And fortunately for her, she spent 3 years really focusing on doing Beachbody on a part-time basis because when she got cut from the company, she was blessed that she had the second income with Beachbody that was already close to what she was making with her marketing career. Everybody understand that? And so sometimes we get comfortable in what we're doing, as far as our plan A goes, and we think that never is going to change. But the reality is, in today's economy and with business today and companies today, you're never guaranteed to have that. Fortunately for me, my wife and I have been blessed to build a huge team out of this, really focusing on just helping people and carrying that banner of Beachbody wherever we go. And knowing that, my philosophy is this. I know how drastically it changed my life. I mean, here I was this morbidly obese man dealing with a lot of emotional pain and guilt and things of that nature. And these programs, it wasn't just the programs, but it was the community of people who have drastically changed my life and introduced me to multiple things like personal development, whether it's, Eric Worre, like Mark and Dave Ramsey and those kind of people. But my life has drastically changed. And I think, who am I to keep that opportunity from other people, right? Minimally, I owe it to them to at least give them the chance to tell me to go fan my ass. They don't have to say yes, right? They don't have to say yes. But fortunately, I did say yes. And here we are now, all these years later, 7 years later, we're making, probably between $300,000 and $400,000 a year right now as Beachbody coaches. And I remember, when I was a new coach or I was a struggling coach, I remember thinking, how is that even possible, right? I mean, how many of you think like that, like having a $250,000 income as a Beachbody coach seems almost so far out of reach that you can't even imagine making that kind of money at anything, let alone as a Beachbody coach, right? I mean, I'm a high school football coach. Let me put this in perspective. As a high school football coach, I make 37 cents an hour for the time I put in, right, as a football coach. I was the same way, but I started seeing other real people who had a good heart and had a driven and determined, a driven determination to succeed at something. I saw them making great gains and as coaches. Not only were they more fulfilled, but they were making much larger incomes than I had ever dreamed of. And I thought, why not me? Why not me? Right? Why can't I be the guy to go out and do that? And so what I'm going to tell you, and it's the same thing, I've had this conversation with Mark over and over again, and it's so great for me to see Mark Klanik having great success and leading a team of people and taking full ownership of that and staying the course, because I got to tell you, it wasn't always easy for him. It wasn't like all of a sudden at the beginning of this thing, God just rained cash on him and God just rained all this like elite and premier coaches and all these Success Club points. No, he learned and he went to work and he started doing the stuff. And that's what it takes. That really is what it takes. And it takes working consistently with a focused goal in mind, and I want you to write that down, working consistently with a focused goal in mind that you're aiming to achieve, okay? That's what it takes to succeed as a Beachbody coach. And it always, and every year, we get to this time, right? Here it is, we're 10 days away from Thanksgiving. How many of you are excited to eat turkey and have Thanksgiving and be with your families and watch the Cowboys play on TV and whatever you do on Thanksgiving? But we get to this time of year, and here's what I know. The difference between coaches who succeed greatly when the new year comes and the ones that sort of miss the wave are this. It's what they do now in November and December. What they do right now. And listen, you can take my word for this. I'm 7 years in. I have nothing to gain by telling you this because you guys aren't directly on my team, okay? But if you want to succeed, I can tell you that every year I see coaches who put their foot on the gas in November and December. And then in January, February, March, when the New Year's wave of people come and the New Year's wave of new Success Club leads come and all of that, all of a sudden they start actually gaining momentum going into the new year because of what they did in November and December from October through that last quarter. And then every year there's these coaches that they have big dreams, but they let the excuse of the holidays get in the way of them working during the holidays. See, here's the thing. Write this down. You want to figure out what 98% of people do and then do the opposite. Because 98% of people are stuck and broke, right? So the fact is this, 98% of people, when they get to the holidays, stop working because it's a holiday. So they're like, I'm just going to stop working. And they use it as a reason to not do much of anything, okay? Versus the 2% of people and coaches who use the holidays as a reason to get other people started right now. Does that make sense? And understanding the fact that if the work we do now is going to pay off dividends later. Let me explain, okay? Every year in the new year, how many of you know, like, that's when the resolution season hits? It's no secret that the first 3 months of every year are the biggest when it comes to fitness, nutrition, and weight loss, right? Every year you got the New Year's resolution crowd. Every year you've got people who are going to either start at a gym, buy a program, start going for walks in the middle of snow, whatever they're going to do, but they're going to get committed to their health. Okay. Every year, then the company also gets a wave of people that they give out as leads. Does everybody understand that? Right. I mean, if they get 50 million people in a year, 50% of them come in those first 3 months. Your job is to make sure that you and your people are set up for success before that wave comes. Think of it like this. If you were going to go surf in the ocean, I'm not a surfer, but we can all envision this, right? A surfer that's in the ocean, he has two choices, right? He can either look behind him and see the wave coming and get going before the wave gets to him so that he's already in momentum, and that way when the wave comes, it lifts him up and he can ride it to the shore. But how many of you know that same surfer in the same ocean with the same wave, if he waits until the wave is on top of him, by the time he starts paddling, the wave is past and he's looking from the back end going nowhere fast? How many of you would agree that that's true? Right? How many of you, right? That's the truth, right? Being a Beachbody coach in the fourth quarter is the same thing. The wave is coming. January is coming. February is coming. The people are coming. But if you wait until January 1 to start paddling, guess what? It's too late because the wave is on top of you. You're missing the opportunity. See, the opportunity is now. The opportunity to get set up is to start paddling now before the January wave starts to hit. And the company puts us, listen, we are set up to do great things, you know, as far as what the company has, right? I mean, here's the thing. People during the holidays can't really, this is just my opinion, getting them started on a 90-day program or a 60-day program in the middle of the holidays is going to be a difficult thing. But getting them started on a 3-day refresh to do immediately after Thanksgiving, that's a very possible thing, right? They want that. What a great way to introduce them. Maybe do a 3-day refresh group. They can get a 3-day refresh challenge pack, or they can get the PIO challenge pack for 180 with the 3-day refresh. There's options for them to do that. The 21-day fix is perfect, right? A 21-day fix group. You know, getting people to do 21 days between Thanksgiving and Christmas so they can pick out all they want on both holidays, but they're going to get focused in between. You see what I'm saying? Right? The fact is this, in my opinion, you want to be doing two things right now. One is coming up with creative ways in which to get new people started on programs or products between now and the end of the year. And I just gave you a couple of suggestions. Then the third thing would be this release of the Insanity Max 30, right? Every year in December, the company blesses us with a big program release. This is every year. They've done this for the last 4 years, where the biggest program of the year, they're going to release it right at the beginning of December so that we can get people on that program, get them ordered so they can start January 1st, okay? And if you're not utilizing that release, then you should be. But the first thing is this: you want to flood new challengers and get people going on new programs. Now, for me, I think it's best to come up with creative ways in which to do that, right? Starting a Hot for the Holidays group, right? Or starting an Unstuff Your Turkey group. I just came up with that, by the way. Take it. Unstuff Your Turkey, okay? That's our 3-day refresh group for after Thanksgiving. I mean, how many of you are going to use that one, right? Unstuff Your Turkey. I think I'm going to start an Unstuff Your Turkey group. And I'm going to talk about it on Thanksgiving night because they're not, nobody feels as terrible about themselves as they do the night of Thanksgiving after they picked out at 4 different houses, right? Okay, so Thanksgiving night, when everyone else is at home feeling like crap, or the next morning, the day after Thanksgiving, that's when I would be talking about this. Hey, if you feel like me and you feel like crap, I'm going to start this Unstuff Your Turkey group, okay? But coming up with creative ways to get people started on a program. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. You want to take the time right now to focus on bringing new coaches in, as many new coaches. See, here's the thing. You want as many coaches underneath you ready to work, up and running by January. So the coaches you bring in now in the next 4 weeks, if you can get them to Emerald by the end of December, guess what? All of them are going to qualify for those January leads. Does that make sense? So it's not just about what you're doing, it's about what you get your team to do. But I would be using that as a reason to approach people. And my approach to those people is going to sound a lot like this. Hey, I'm looking to get as many new we're expecting, this is what I would say, hey, our company is expecting 10 million people to start new fitness programs in January. And my job is to get as many coaches up and trained before those people get started so that we have enough help to help them. So if you've ever thought about coaching, now's the time, right? That would be my approach. Our company's expecting 10 million people in the first quarter of the year to get started on our programs. And we only have couple 100,000 coaches, and in fact, maybe only 20,000 are actively doing something. So we don't have enough people yet. And we're looking for more people to join us so that we have enough help. Is this something you've ever considered? If now's the time, right? Everybody understand that. But I'm thinking this. I want as many coaches under me, even if you're brand new. What a great chance for you to go get your first 3, 4, or 5 people and get them focused on helping people in the new year. Right? You want your new coaches to have the greatest success possible. So if they get started now and they get through their Success Starters program or Coach Basics or whatever your group puts them through to get them trained, or however you guys start your new coaches, if you can get them through that before January, then they can be promoting openly their challenge group come January 1st. But if you wait until January to start asking them about it, guess what? You're late. It's like a baseball player swinging 3 seconds late at a fastball. He's never gonna connect with the ball, right? So don't be late with your swing. The swing needs to happen when? Now. You got to start paddling now. You got to start asking people now. You got to start openly promoting your 3-day refresh group or 21-day challenge group now, so that you get the people in line. But I would be doing those two things, right? I'd be trying to flood challengers. Why? Those challengers, if they get started on a program now, they're going to become new coaches in the new year. Those are the people that, if you can help them navigate the holidays without gaining the average 10 pounds, and they feel good and they love the stuff, those are the people that you can then approach later in December, especially if you do something between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Then you have an opportunity to approach them with the, hey, we need more coaches come New Year. Have you thought about this? Does everybody understand that? But if I were you, I would look at those two things, challengers and coaches, and I would set a specific goal of how many people you want. How many people you want. So, hey, I'm looking for 10 other people to do this Unstuff Your Turkey group. Hey, I'm looking for 10 new coaches to get started and trained before the new year. The coaches who get to work now are the ones that are going to gain the greatest benefit come the new year. And how many of you want to be that person? How many of you don't want to be the person who's behind the wave watching the other people surf the wave successfully, all because you chose to let the holidays become your excuse instead of your reason? Write that down. Don't let the holidays be your excuse. Use it as your reason to get people going, and you'll find greater success. But make a plan. I've thrown out some ideas to you as far as what I would do, okay? Set your specific goals for each category okay, and then get busy paddling. So that would be my greatest advice to you guys. And then hit the new year as hard as you can after that. And you'll find that within the next 3, 4, 5 months that you'll gain greater momentum going forward that's going to last through the first half of 2015. So with that said, Mark, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Awesome. Man, Tommy, thanks so much for giving all those great tips. I hope you guys were taking notes. I was trying to take some notes on the team page. Jess is here now taking notes on a notebook. We're trying to hit it. Both of us hit our notes. You know, Tommy's absolutely right. You know, this is the time. This is, you know, just like in any sports setting. I always refer everything back to sports. I know Tommy does a lot of that too with coaching, but the fourth quarter is when the champions are made, right? It's the people that take it to that next level in the fourth quarter at the end of the game, that don't give up, that make it happen and win the championship. And to set yourself up right now for 2015 is critical, absolutely crucial to your success next year. So again, Tommy, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy night, away from your family, away from your beautiful daughter, to come chat with us for a little bit. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom, and again, just appreciate everything that you've done for Jessica and myself with our business. You know, I think you kind of glossed over it, but I didn't even mention it, that our team Tommy has zero financial gain from our team. When he brought us in with open arms, he had nothing to gain personal income by helping us succeed. It's just the kind of person he is. It's the kind of guy he is, and it's one of the reasons why I've made the commitment for our business. As newer coaches ask me for help, and they're not on our team, we always try to help them as much as we can, because we knew that was given to us, and so we've made it our mission to continue to pay that forward and help others. Because the truth is, the stronger the entire network gets, the better it is for all of us, right? The stronger Team Beachbody brand becomes, the better it is for all of us. The stronger and the more leaders that we have with integrity out there that are doing it the right way, building a business the right way, the better it is for all of us. So thanks again for taking time out of your night, Tommy, to do that for us. And anything else, babe? She hopped in here late.
Sorry.
So
I was on the phone.
she called in. So guys, that's it. You know, take these things that these action steps that Tommy has given us and put them into action. They do you no good by sitting in your notebook until January 15th. They do you no good by reading them over and over and over to yourself, but not taking action. And they're simple things that you can do, right? I love the Unstuff Your Turkey 3-day refresh. Little things like that, right? You know, that's always my goal out of every call, every training. Grab a couple nuggets and apply them. Some of the stuff, you know, that was said tonight might have went way over your head. You don't even know what's going on. Your head's spinning right now. But I guarantee there are 1, 2, or 3 things that you can just grab and run with. So take that over the next couple of weeks, carry that ball, and just carry that across the finish line. So, guys, thanks again for hopping on tonight. I'm sorry.
We carry it again over the end zone, right? Isn't that, or the goal line, not the finish line?
Finish line, end line. Oh, basketball.
Football
I'm a basketball player.
Yeah, man.
Basketball player.
Finish the fourth quarter, baby. For sure.
Wrong sport.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, thanks again for hopping on with us. Hope you guys got some value out of the call tonight. We will post the recording as soon as it's done downloading, and post this in the team page. I'll send it to you, Tommy, so you can get that out to your team. So everybody,
thanks,
have a great Thanksgiving.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, Tony. Thank you.